Junk Monk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host, Candace, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
And I'm Noah L., your co-host, who has a sore throat.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are picking up where the Drunk Monk Podcast left off, hosted by Keiko Agena and Will S. Choi. I was a big fan of their podcast and was really sad to see that they stopped their show, so I decided to pick it up, and I managed to find me a co-host.
So here's the thing. Will and Keiko did their show a little drunk. So we're going to do our show with a little drunk. I've got my junk food here. It's called Pirate's Booty Aged White Cheddar.
That sounds delicious. And I have Mother's, the original circus animal cookie. I'm not sure if that's the original, but they're the circus animal cookies with the little sprinkles. They're pretty good. Also, you must know I have seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan. Started watching in about 2007 and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I've seen the pilot episode and those we've done on the show, and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
So if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away. Here's what happened. So this is Mr. Monk Goes to a Fashion Show, Season 4, Episode 10. Here's what happened. In the open, we see Natalie and Monk buying dress shirts for Monk when he realizes something must be wrong with the inspector of his shirts because there's a tear in one of them. This leads him to Inspector Number 8, whose son, Pablo Ortiz, has been wrongly convicted for the murder of a fashion model. Monk meets him, is convinced of his innocence, and takes the case. This leads him next to the dead model's roommate and the studio of fashion designer Julian Hodge. After Monk's interview with the roommate comes up short, they stick around after Julie is recruited to be in Hodge's upcoming fashion show. In the midst of this, we see Julian Hodges murder the roommate to keep her from spilling to the police about what really happened to her friend. Monk finds two dead models suspicious and knows it's Julian, but can't figure out how. It turns out it was the medical examiner, Gordo, helping him all along. He had doctored the evidence against Ortiz in the first murder by switching the vials with Hodges' name to Pablo's. Monk busts him when he plants his own hairs at the old crime scene, tells Gordo to test them, and Gordo reads the results as Pablo Ortiz once again. Hodges and Gordo are both arrested in the end. So that's what happened.
Okay.
So, what did you like about this episode?
I really liked the plot, and it was just, really fun to watch, and really, it was just fun, and I don't like the word good, because it's, basic, nice.
Yeah.
It's not very descriptive.
Nice.
But it was a fun, good plot.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I had any plot things in here, actually. It might honestly be more plot holes for me for the plot. Oh. So I'll start with some quotes. So like I said, they end up at the fashion designer's studio, Hodges, and then Natalie and Randy are immediately judged by their looks by this fashion designer.
Oh, yes.
He thinks Natalie is, what does he say? She's basic, or she's a basic person. He doesn't really like her very much. But then he sees Randy, and he's like, oh, are you here for modeling audition? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, you should consider it. And then so Randy gets a big head, obviously, as Randy would. And then Natalie gets insecure about how she looks. So the first thing I have is when we see them after that initial meeting where they're at the beach and Randy is dressed, which he's dressed in his normal police clothes with his suit, but he's standing on this rock and he's perched up with his elbow on his knee and just looking off in the distance. And then Natalie shows up in this little black dress with these sunglasses on, trying to look all stylish, which I don't know. She did look like she was going to a funeral or something. It was kind of weird. But anyway, and then Natalie walks up to Randy and says what are you doing? Why are you standing like that?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, this is how I stand. Why are you dressed like that? She's like,
this is how I dress.
Well, this is how I stand.
Well, this is how I dress.
Well, this is how I stand. I love that part. And
that was really good.
Where they're just trying to impress this guy now. It's so bad.
I like Inspector 8. She's they honestly did not need Inspector 8 plotline at all. That was a lot of it could have been just random lady who's sad. It doesn't have to be factory lady who makes Monk's signature shirt. But she's cool. I like Inspector 8.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have that. Again, that's just a little bit further down on my list for me because I kind of tied that into what I didn't like about
Same.
it. So I don't necessarily have her as what I do like, but you'll figure out that I do like her in the plot hole section.
Okay.
And stuff. My next thing is I honestly have a lot of Randy stuff. I like when they're first Monk is trying to get this interview with this model.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, guys, there's no case here, just drop it. Then he figures out that it's with a model, and so Stottlemyre and Randy are like, well, we have the rest of the day off, so we might as well just go help you guys out.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, pigs, whatever. And then they get to the beach, and then Randy is like, all right, who's gonna get the interview? Because the girl said she's going to get undressed and change, and so they all go to follow her, and she's like, just one of you?
Yeah.
And then so Randy's like, all right, so how are we going to decide this? I think I should do alphabetical order, right? And then Monk's like, oh no, hey, Adrian. And Randy's like, no, last name. So what is that? A, no. B, no. C, oh, D. D for Disher. So Stottlemyre cuts him off. And he's like, Monk, this is your case. Go take it. I love that. Oh, Randy.
Randy thinks he's always outsmarting everyone in the room.
He totally does. And everyone's just waiting for him to be done so they can be like, anyway. That's so true.
Okay, I also really enjoyed the runway scene. Like, the way it was shot, and it was like, And all, like, whenever in a movie or a TV show, like, fashion, or, what's the TV show called?
Project Runway.
Project Runway. I always like, and I don't even like Project Runway.
Right.
It always gets
the fashion
me hyped.
show's fun.
I'm always like,
Yeah. Fashion shows are fun.
It's
To
super
either,
fun to
like,
watch.
look at the awesome clothing and look at the hideous clothing and then look at the
Yes.
models and see, like, how, not how pretty they are, but how, like, their facial expressions and stuff. And you're like, oh, she's mad.
And how there's a 13-year-old on the runway.
Yeah. I have models younger than that. She's practically middle-aged. I was like, golly, that's a little much.
Weirdo.
Yeah. I'm thinking about my plot holes. Okay. I also liked that. So it's another Randy thing. Randy dresses up. He finally does dress up because they're going to the fashion show.
Oh, yes.
So Randy dresses up for the fashion show. And then, is that why he dresses up? Because they're at a crime scene. Oh, when the model dies. When the second model dies. And then Stottlemyre and Disher are there to investigate. And Stottlemyre says, do you want to write that down? And Disher's like, I'll remember it. And he's like, Lieutenant, where's your notebook? And he's like, the suit's Italian. This notebook wouldn't fit in here. Oh, that's terrible. And then Stottlemyre's like, Stottlemyre says, all right, let's go, Fabio.
Oh, yes. He said, Fabio, write that down.
Yeah.
Is that, that's all I have for likes.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, let me do my last Randy thing.
Okay.
When we're at the end of the episode, Randy's all dressed up, whatever, and he goes to light a cigarette, like he's all cool guy, and then Stottlemyre just leans over and goes,
Flick.
going, and flicks it out of his mouth, and then Randy's just like, okay, puts his hands down. I love that. That's I want to say that's in the open, in the theme song. When they do the transitions, I want to say, because I've seen that scene a lot. I'm pretty sure that it's in there, during the It's a Jungle Out There, the theme song.
Wait, I think, how the heck did they do that theme song? Because we're in season 4, and if that did happen, isn't it the same theme song? Does it change every season?
Oh, you know what? You're right. I don't know. We'll have to look back at that. I'm working on the season 2 recap right now, so I'll see. Yeah, because there's no way that scene could be in the ones I'm watching now. So, I don't know. We'll have to check that out.
Okay.
Okay, so I have another Monk moment. It is one of my first Monk moment, I guess, is whenever they're trying to get into the fashion show and they're not on the list. And the guy's like, you're not on the list. Do you remember what he says?
He says,
he looks at the list.
He looks at the list and he says, like, I'm
Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy. And he keeps on going on and on about how he is Puff Daddy and the other guy copied him. And he's not, the other guy is not Puff Daddy. Monk is Puff Daddy.
He's like, oh, this happens all the time.
Oh,
There-
yes.
There's two Puff Daddies. I'm Puff Daddy, and he's also Puff Daddy. And then he's like, well, why don't you change your name? And he's like, why doesn't he change his name? That's what I'm saying.
I was bored before him.
It does say that. I was born first. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right, then I have one more thing at the very end. It's a Natalie, not a scheme, but a Natalie gotcha. Whenever she says to Julian Hodges, she confronts him at the end after he's, caught. And she starts commenting. She's like, oh, I hope you like orange.
Oh, yes.
You're going to be wearing a nice little orange jumpsuit. It's got a little number right there. And then she says something else.
Is that your quotes as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I could have been doing quotes with you.
Oh.
Okay, so
all right.
now let's...
It's
now
okay.
everyone listen to me talk about my quote.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Okay.
I'll pop a crunchy crunch.
Quote number 1. He grabs the shirt and he's like, it's always perfect. And then he flips it over and he's like, and there's a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because
he's talking about like how immaculate, like, oh, her work is so great. Everything's so perfect. There's a tear.
Yeah. Natalie says, you don't even know if she's a man or a woman. And Mug says, I love her.
That's so funny. I love that. Because he's still talking about, like, she's great, she's amazing. And she's like, you don't even know if she's a man or a woman. And Monk's like, something, something, something. I love her. That's so good. Noah choking on his crunchy crunch.
Okay. Is this my last one? Oh, yeah. It's yours.
Oh, okay.
The jumpsuit, orange jumpsuit. Let me tell you what you're going to wear. It's orange. You're going to love it.
It's a little jumpsuit's got a number right there. She says something else, though. You can wear lots of places.
Yeah.
You
The
can
courtyard.
You can wear it indoors. You can wear it out in the yard. Got him, Natalie.
For real.
Got him.
All right. What did you not like?
Okay, so this is where I feel like kind of my plot-ish things come in. So just a big umbrella. I don't like the designer Julian Hodges. He's rude and he's crass, but also I get like strong pervy vibes. Like when he asked Julie to be in the fashion show, which I mean, I know that there are very young models and they do like models that look young and stuff, but just him personally, like you can say someone's a pretty person and should be a model without being like creepy vibes,
Yeah.
He's also a killer. And then he's mean to Julie on the runway. Like, he starts yelling at her.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
when she's walking her first time? And he's like, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Did you forget something? And she's like, what? And he's like, did you forget how to walk? I was like, you're the one that hired a 13-year-old.
Exactly. Like, you were like, okay, be there on Monday. It'll be fine. And then she walked wrong.
Yeah.
Like, what did you want her to do?
She walked wrong. Exactly.
I put creepy fashion guy because he is a creepy fashion guy.
Exactly. And as a 12-year-old, you pick up on creepy
Yes.
vibes, right?
Yes.
So, exactly.
As someone near Julie's age, I did not think it was wise to sneak out of her house and be with a creepy fashion guy.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's what I wanted to ask you, actually. So I wanted to ask you, if you were Julie in the first place, would you have done the show?
No.
No? Okay. So if you were Natalie, would you have let her do the show if she wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you have...
Because I personally would not want to, but if I did want to, I'd be like mad at my mom. I'd be like, really? I could be next top model, and you are gonna squash my dreams, even though you said, quote, she should follow her dreams. And I don't want my mom telling me to follow my dreams and then tell me not to follow my dreams.
Okay, now I will say that, was it a dream whenever she just literally got recruited like 2 seconds ago?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But, no.
She said try new things.
Try new things.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you were about to answer this, but would you have run away?
No.
to do the fashion show. Okay. Now, last question. If you were Natalie, would you have walked on stage to go get Julie during the fashion show?
Hex to the knob. There's no way I would have embarrassed my child up there.
Even if she disobeyed you and ran away.
I hate when my mom just like does like anything, like talks to me in public.
Let
alone a bunch of cameras and everything up there. No way.
So not even from a parent's perspective, you don't think you would.
Okay,
If she ran
but
away.
it's not like she was gonna like jump off the stage and like run. She was like, "Come here right now." And it's like, that's what she was going to do. They literally have like
a circle.
Literally
a circle. That is true. I will say that. Like, it didn't seem like a rushed, like, oh my gosh, Julie, like, let's go. Which, okay, I guess it did, because they knew Julian Hodges was the killer. So that's why. It wasn't just.
But still, he's not even. It's not even like he's like next to her. So why would they?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. So let's see. What else did we not like? So what? Was it my turn or your turn? I don't remember.
Your turn.
Because I only have one more thing.
Okay,
So
do I.
I have more Mexican lady, less pervy designer.
I can mutually share that thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Mexican lady should have got more screen time.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so it wasn't just me. I like that. I like when I'm like, am I missing something? Because I thought the Mexican lady was going to come back, and maybe even her son too. Like, I mean, I didn't necessarily need her son in it, but their storyline. I thought they were going to see more of that.
I put this as dislikes. Inspector 8 plotline doesn't have to exist at all. I think I already said that.
But you liked her.
I do like her. Inspector 8 is a cool lady with 8 O's, might I add, stacked on top of each other. That's what I put. But also, Inspector 8 plotline really does not have to exist.
I get what you're saying. Like, that's your like tied in with your dislike.
Yeah.
Like, I liked her, but that didn't even have to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could have just started the episode with, this model died, or something.
Yeah.
Didn't have to tie in the shirt thing to it or anything.
That was weird.
Yeah. All right. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Me too. So I think it's time to move on
to
He's the Guy. All right. Do you have anybody?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So I thought I was going to have somebody. And then, so I looked them up because I thought that the medical examiner, Gordo, I thought he looked familiar. And so I looked him up. I did not know any of his other credits. But when I was looking it up, his credit for Monk said that he was in this episode, but also he was in an episode 2 years prior, which I'm guessing is maybe season 2, which was Mr. Monk Gets Fired. And now I remember, which you haven't seen this episode, but I remember he is on there because Mr. Monk actually gets fired because he goes to his office. He goes to Gordo's, like the autopsy room or whatever.
Okay.
And so there's a keyboard sitting out with all of his files, and they're just talking. You know how Monk talks and he fixes things at the same time?
Yes.
Well, he had taken like a credit card or a piece of paper and was scraping in between the lines in the keyboard. So he was scraping like the dirt out, and then he pushes delete on the screen, and it says delete all files, and he's not looking at the screen, so he just keeps doing it, and then he pushes enter, and it deletes like 10 or 20 years worth of documents. Oh. And so you think, oh, that's funny, but he actually gets fired for it.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is the same medical examiner. They use the same guy.
That is such a cool little
Yeah, right? Like, I was like, dedication. Oh, yeah. Like, they got the same guy to come back. I wonder if he has the same name. I didn't look that up. Oh, I guess it probably would have said. I looked it up on IMDb, so I'm sure it said Gordo. So yeah, I probably gave him the same name too. Or they just didn't call him a name, maybe.
Yeah,
that's they probably didn't.
So
yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, also Gordo was played by Scott Adsit. It's Adsit. Ad and sit. I'm not sure how you say that. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. That's it. But all right, I guess it's time to move on to plot holes.
All right. right, Candace, what do you have for plot holes?
I have a lot. Do you have a lot, or do you have none?
I have one.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's the one that we addressed while we were watching it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so the sales guy, the very beginning of the episode,
Okay.
he was very rude. Rude for a sales guy. Like, he asked him, first of all, Monk says he's coming in to look for this particular shirt. Mm-hmm. And then the guy's like, oh, well, you already have that shirt, so why not try something new? And Natalie's like, cut it out. Mm-hmm. Like, if you went to a store and asked someone for that particular shirt, would they not be like, oh, heck yes. I know if we have that shirt or not.
Yeah.
Get him in and get him out the door.
Yes.
But you're like, actually, try something new. Like, I don't know. I guess there are salespeople like that, but I feel like if a customer comes in and specifically says, I want to buy this from you, like, just let them buy it.
Who'd be like,
don't buy that.
You're wearing that right now, weirdo. I'm not going to get that.
Yeah. And then he says to him, whenever he says the inspector thing, and he's like, oh, do you have one that's inspected by number 8? This one's inspected by number 6. And he's like, you're joking. And he's like, you're not joking. Okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess someone would, no? Okay. No, nobody would say that.
No,
that's rude.
Would say that.
I'd be like, in my head, the salesperson in me would be like, what the heck is this person? Like, are they being serious right now? But I just look, I don't know. Let me check. Yeah, sure. Here's another one. Like, that's a real salesperson. Yeah. So I felt like that guy was just either really bad or that was a plot hole. Mm-hmm. My next one would be Randy, a model. Not to be rude, because I do think that Jason Gray Stanford is an attractive man. However, and what we're getting from Hodges is that he's judging Natalie for being old, and then Randy is presumably the same age as her, but we think, we're supposed to believe that he wants him to be a model. Yeah. And then also really, really likes the fact that Julie is really young. Oh, so, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know about that one. So do you have one, or do you want?
I do have one.
Okay.
The fashion guy is drinking champagne.
Okay, yeah.
While, because he's complimenting the girls on how they did and stuff, and then he just stops talking, but the audio keeps on going. So he's drinking champagne while the audio is saying, like, good job, girls. Mm-hmm.
He says, you look lovely in that dress or something. You look lovely in that dress.
Yeah.
While he straight up has a champagne thing right on his mouth. That was pretty glaring. That was pretty big.
So you?
Okay, so my next one is the clothes straightened. That is the hunch that Monk.
That's them.
That's the biggest. Monk has a lot of hunches and they stretch that out a lot. But I felt like the only reason that he had a hunch was because Julian Hodges' clothes, he had straightened the clothes on the model. Yeah. It's like,
on Julie.
You couldn't. No. The first girl he killed.
Yeah.
We see the crime scene photos of the girl that he killed, and her clothes are all straight. Mm-hmm. I looked at the photo twice, and I couldn't tell her clothes were straightened. I don't know. He's like, well, the body's twisted sideways, and he straightens the clothes. And so he must have done it, because he's like, how do you know? And he's like, because I would have done it. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I didn't see the clothes being straightened, so I didn't even, understand that plot hole. But then also, that's the hunch that makes you think that he's the killer. I don't know. I thought it was a stretch. I thought it was a stretch.
It definitely is.
Okay, I thought that was weird.
I mean, murder show's gonna stretch.
No.
None's gonna none. Murder show's gonna stretch.
That's just not as catchy of a hashtag there. Okay, and then what's my next one? Oh, since when do medical examiners get out in the field that often? Don't they stay in their, autopsy places? And then, the guy's, out, and they're, telling him the plan. Oh, yeah, look, we found this piece of hair behind this thing. And Gordo, the examiner, is standing there, at the crime scene. You're standing at a crime scene that happened 6 months ago? I'm sure they probably called him so that they could plant the evidence and whatever. Yeah. But That's weird. That's weird that a medical examiner would be out
That's true.
and
I
about
didn't
like
think
that.
about that.
So,
And they're like, okay, Gordo, you stand here. And so whenever we are about to, like, reveal it, you walk in and we point to you. Boom, you have the vial. And then boom, we double cross you. You've been faking it this whole time. All right, ready? Let's go.
like, I just don't see why a medical... I mean, I've watched a lot of other crime shows, and they always, whenever the medical examiner is in a scene, they're always in the coroner's office or the lab or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so my last one would be, can you can't test hair without follicles. Because Natalie says, because Monk says, Natalie just pulled the hairs out with a tweezer. She just yanked them right out. And Natalie's like, we needed the follicles. And he's like, no, you could have just cut it. And he's like, we knew he wasn't going to test it anyway. But if he's a medical examiner, if he would have seen the hairs without any follicles, he would have said, oh, we can't even test these. So that would be, you know what I mean? Because Monk is saying that, oh, you could have just cut them. No, you couldn't have just cut them because you would have needed the follicles for him to even do a fake test on it. As a medical examiner, all he would have to do is say, this doesn't have any follicles, so I can't test it. That was my last plot hole. So
Got a big bird.
So be impressed. Be impressed.
I am impressed.
Okay. All right. So that was it for plot holes. Oh, we're just speeding along here.
Our speeding. We're speeding and...
How crazy was Monk this episode?
All right. Are we gonna reveal? Do we usually reveal our things first? Our name?
Oh, we do. Out of 10, what?
Okay. You can go first because I like mine.
Okay. I have out of 10 shoulder moles.
That's just gross.
It is so gross, but I had a couple different options, and every time I said that one, it made me giggle. So I had to use.
You're the worst.
I had to use that one.
I had out of 10 Julian Hodge cigarettes.
That's funny because I had one of my options was out of 10 Randy cigarettes.
Aww.
Like, because he flings.
I like that better.
He flings it. So, whatever.
I just want the shoulder mold.
If you can see Noah's face right now. Shoulder moles.
Nasty. I don't want to think about that.
That's what makes it funny. It's gross.
Oh, I actually didn't even do crazy moments ago.
Oh my
1
gosh.
second.
Boop, beep.
No, you tell him your plot hole, Candace.
Okay,
I don't want to hold up the show.
Okay, so I will do my crazy moments, and because you don't have any, right? Or you have some?
I have like one.
Oh my gosh, Noah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was eating Chick-fil-A.
Okay. So, crazy moments. I got quite a few. He can't focus on the crime scene because he's focused on the shirts. So, at probably the second or third scene of the show, we see Monk and Natalie being called to a different crime scene involving, like, I don't know, some lady. I guess she killed her husband or something. But you only see that scene for a second because Disher and Stottlemyre are trying to get Monk to, like, okay, Monk, look at the clues, whatever. And Monk's like, oh, yeah, she's lying. She killed her husband because blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go check on Inspector number 8. And they're like, Monk, you just solved the case. And he's like, all right. So that was one of the crazy moments that he can't focus on the crime scene.
That was
because he's focused on the t-shirt lady. Not t-shirt, but the shirt lady.
Crazy moment for me is Monk goes all out on trusting Inspector 8. Like she said, my little boy got taken away or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of people were in doubt, Monk. And Inspector 8 doesn't get a free pass. And he just, like, ditches everything else just to go on this rabbit hole.
I think he did trust her, but I don't even know that it was trust. He was his ultimate goal was to get her to get to making shirts again. For him, like, right? Yeah. So Natalie had to convince him that the kid was innocent Remember, because they see the exit sign and they're like, oh, the exit sign, he can't read English, so he must have known, right? So Monk didn't think that he did it. So he didn't just really trust her blindly. He just really wanted his shirts done. With that, because I have that in my crazy moments, is that he only does get shirts from number 8. That's crazy within itself.
Super crazy.
And he writes a fan letter to number 8. The only fan letter he's ever written.
She's ever gotten.
Oh, that she's ever gotten.
Yes.
Which makes a lot more sense.
That is so funny. When she's like, oh, Monk, and she like points to the framed, was it framed?
I don't know if it was just tacked up there or something.
I think it was just tacked up there. Like, she didn't really care about it. But still.
But she tacked it up there.
It's kind of sweet.
That's why, when you see that very first scene, that's why you want more of Mexican Lady.
Mexican Lady for the Mexican lady is gonna Mexican Lady.
I know. And I wanted to do something for a, like, out of 10, something to do with her, but she had such a short scene.
No. Ready? Out of 10, Monk.
Fan letters?
Fan letters.
Yes, changing it.
Changing it.
High five. Changing it. It is change. All right, so we're going to continue this segment of How Crazy Was Monk this episode with 10 Monk fan letters. Okay.
Nice.
So I'm going to continue. Okay, the fact that we kind of know this. He only wears the same shirt anyway.
Yeah.
Not only does it have to be expected by her, it's the same exact shirt.
Yes.
He could wear any shirt that's inspected by number 8, but he wears the same one. So
Always.
that's pretty crazy. Okay. He thinks that hot means heated.
Oh, yeah.
You want to explain that one?
So, Randy, the Monk is done interrogating the roommate to the dead fashion model. And she walks away from Monk. And Randy and Stottlemyre come up to Monk. And Randy looks at her and says, wow, she's hot. And Monk, what does he even say?
He says something like, I mean, she's probably just a little heated. She'll cool down in a minute. Oh my gosh, I love that.
That is such a good moment.
That's like to me, that's like the stripper is a cop
thing.
Yeah,
that's the oblivious cute Monk.
Oblivious cute Monk. So he doesn't get a lot of crazy points for it, but it made the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at the end of the episode, he tells the Mexican lady that he wants her to go back to work immediately.
Oh,
He's
yes.
like, oh, you don't need a half day off. Your son's back. You can go back to making shirts. And I was like, Mr. Monk, she needs to spend time with her son. And he turns around and he's like, Trabajar, Saturday. That's so mean. Will you work Saturday? Yeah, you will. I'm like, that's messed up. He did do her a really big favor though. Okay, so then he meets with the model, and he wants to make her moles even. Oh. And he says, if you put that other mole on the other side, your career will go. Like, he does like the take off like thing. It's like your career will go. Pew. Okay,
my gosh.
My last thing contributes to how crazy was Monk this episode for me. Okay.
Okay.
He adds a mole to the dead body of the model. That, to me, that's where you cross.
Nasty.
He crossed the line to me for he's messing with the body.
That is nasty.
Dead person.
He's like,
thing.
rest in peace. Destroying Sharpie.
Yeah. So, do you want me to say my number?
Nasty. Go ahead.
Okay. This is my highest ever, y'all.
9.
9.
Wow.
9. I'm telling you, that drawing on the mole thing, like, that sent me over the edge.
Skyrocketing.
Yeah. Like, for sure.
I had 6, but I changed it to an 8.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Let me get this straight. So, you didn't even have a number.
I don't want to hear it.
As of like 2 minutes ago. He's turning his back on me. You didn't even have a number as of 2 minutes ago. But you already changed it.
Okay.
Why didn't you just tell me the number you ended up on?
It's not my fault, okay? I wrote it down before you finished, and then...
then I added
it's
more
not
moments,
my fault.
or...
And then you just kept on talking. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the mole thing. So then I changed it to an 8 out of 10.
I can't with you.
Okay. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
So... Rate this episode. All right, we're already on our last segment. I'm so sad. We always get to this last segment. We're always like rocking and rolling, and then we get to the last one, and you're like, oh man.
I'm sad.
All right. Do you have anything about yours, why you rated it, or just your number, or what? How you want to play this?
5 out of 10.
Okay.
Because this was just a plain episode. 5 out of 10 for plainness.
Yep, I've got I tend to agree with that. I'm getting kind of, since we're already a few episodes in, I'm getting to where I'm like trying to relate them to other episodes, like, oh, was it better than this one, or better, comparatively. Yeah. So it's getting kind of hard with my 0.5s and my whatever things. But so with that being said, I think I'm gonna change mine in true Noah fashion. I'm gonna change mine. I'm just gonna take a 0.5 off, so it's okay. I gave this episode...
But still.
Oh, also, my rating scale. All Monk episodes deserve a 10. Cue the fake vomiting from Noah. Highest is 2 10s. Lowest is a 10. I give this episode a 10.6. So, I think that's one of my lower ratings. I'm not sure if I've rated it.
10.6. So 6 out of 10.
And then, in true Noah fashion, he has your handy conversion chart there.
Of course.
I say mine, and then when you can ask Siri, like, can you convert? Were we converting earlier pounds to dollars? You can ask Siri, so like you can ask Noah, convert Candace's crazy scale to regular scale.
It is 6 out of 10. That was my best Siri voice, everyone.
Well, it doesn't have to be Siri. It's your voice, so it's okay.
It's my best Noah voice.
All right. So, do you have any reason why you rated yours a 5? Just the average.
It's just average.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yep. So, I feel like they could have steered the comedy towards... Okay, so, because we already talked about this a little bit, the Ortiz family... Mm-hmm. This could have been a lot about them, and we could have had a lot of sweet moments and funny moments.
Yes.
Because its shirt stuff was really funny. The model stuff was really funny, too. But the shirt stuff was really like, oh, and that's
more
so
original.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of sweet moments, but I feel like they could have steered it comedically towards the Ortiz family storyline as well. And then, the cringy designer, I didn't need it. The lifeless models... I didn't need it. Like, that model was not nice.
Yeah.
Like, she was mean to Mr. Monk, and then she dies, and you're like, meh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, So it's not terrible, a little above average. So, 10.6.
10.6, 6 out of 10.
All right. Well, I'm going to...
It's been fun, you guys.
Catch up on some of my circus crackers. Are these different animals? I don't think they are. Let's see. No, these are just blobs, I think. This is like a blob hippo, and this is like a blob elephant. They're pretty blobby, right?
Hippo?
What else would it be? Oh, wait. Hippos are not in the circus.
It's a cow.
It's a cow. Are cows in the circus?
It's a bear.
There's camels, rhinos, lions, elephants, and cows and bears. That's definitely a cow.
It's a bear.
Okay, I'm eating a cow.
Why would they have cows?
I have no clue. What's like a cow in a circus?
I don't know, but I just bit off this llama's head.
I think that's a camel.
Why would they have... Oh, it's a camel. My friend asked me yesterday night, what is this? I said, it's a camel. Because he thought it was a llama. and I just made that same exact mistake. I made fun of him for it.
Oh my gosh. So we are going to wrap this up here. Noah has where are you going tonight?
Oh, no, do not tell him.
I am going to tell them.
You're not
Because I
tell
want to
him.
go. I wish it was for me. He's going to
What?
a sock hop. That's so fun. People love that kind of stuff. 50s, sock hop, Grease, Sandy,
That's so
Danny.
lame.
Oh, come on. It's cotillion again, so.
It's Catalan.
Yeah. So maybe next time Noah will be a little kinder, more well-mannered, and we'll see you guys next time.
No, whoa, you cannot end it like that. Maybe Candace can fix her scale. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram.
If you want to know more about Candace, she's at Hearteds and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., too bad. Also, you can catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
You'll thank me later.